Super Hits 93.5 Red FM. Hello and welcome to Red FM Mumbai. I'm Malishka. प्यार से लोग मुझे मुंबई की रानी कहते हैं, मगर आज मेरे साथ एक और क्वीन बैठी हुई हैं. I first of all want to touch a little bit upon mental health, जिसकी बातें अचानक से इतनी सारी होने लगी that I started to wonder कि ये क्या हमारे पुरखों के ज़माने में नहीं हुआ करता था. What is the scene with this? अचानक से इसकी बातें इतनी क्यों हो रही है? Moreover, celebrities, philanthropists, industrialists, people that you would look up to, people जो आपके समाज में एक जगह होल्ड करती है, who would never talk about it before. It was not a brought up topic at all. वो इसकी बातें करने लगे. कुछ सालों पहले मुझसे नीरजा बिरला जी मिली थी and she is here with me today and I want to welcome her. Medium, please welcome Ms. Neerja Birla.
Hello, hi. Thank you. Thanks so much, Malishka. Lovely to be here after so many years, but always nice to be in conversation with you and just having a nice chat.
Yeah. But how was the traffic from your house to our radio station?
So one thing that really irks me is the traffic. I get a little cranky in traffic actually. So yeah, the traffic is quite bad. But I have to say that I was in Istanbul very recently and the traffic there was just so much worse that when I came back to Bombay, I felt such a relief.
That's another dent on our mental health for sure. मतलब कहीं ना कहीं आपके दिमाग का भुर्जी तो बन ही जाता है.
एकदम भुर्जी बनता है, एकदम भुर्जी.
And also before going, please tell us what have the Ganpati celebrations been like for you?
And Ganpati, I think, is a beautiful time in Bombay. I really love it.
Really?
जो festivity है बहुत अच्छी लगती है.
But all that टकरा traffic.
Traffic थोड़ा है, पर ठीक है. The festivity, जो चहल पहल है, एक माहौल में एक खुशी सी है, that excitement is palpable. तो जब विसर्जन हो जाता है तो मुझे एकदम I feel a sudden low after that. I just feel कि अरे मेहमान चले गए. It literally feels like that. Yeah. We do it at home as well.
Is it at home as well?
In a very small manner, but yes, we do that. And actually जब विसर्जन हो जाता है तो अगले दिन बहुत ऐसे सूना सा लगता है. I think it's a great time of the year.
I know, it really is. And now the festival season will start.
Yes.
It will be nuts. First of all, Ananya is a star. We know it's a starry family. It's an industrialist family. It's a family that's in the news. ऐसे में क्या आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आपके लाइफ के प्रेशर्स और सामान्य आदमी के लाइफ के प्रेशर्स बहुत अलग होते हैं and mental health is different for, I mean, you, your family, people in that space of life versus the common man who you're working for?
Yeah. I think everybody has pressures, Malishka. You have pressures, I have pressures, everybody has pressures. सबके pressures अलग रहते हैं, but ultimately it's the same. The anxiety that you feel will probably be the same kind of anxiety that I feel. The emotion will be the same, but the reason could be different. But ultimately we all, I think the ubiquity of human suffering is the same. And that is what the beauty, if I may call it so, is. The universality of it. Of course, life is very pressurizing in terms of a lot of things happening. There is a lot of pressure of different kinds. Very often when people think that, you have everything materially and, what can possibly go wrong? But that's a myth because, the money and resources are obviously to be used, but there's a lot of responsibility that also comes with the privilege and heavy is the head that wears the crown. When you have responsibility, obviously it also adds a lot of pressure.
Because people are always debating this. Money can buy you happiness, money cannot buy you happiness.
Money cannot buy you happiness.
Sure.
100%.
Neerja!
100% sure. Money cannot buy you happiness.
No.
You can have how much ever money in the world you want. I believe that there is only that much you can buy, right? After 10 cars, what are you going to do with the 11th car? That's what I believe. You only need that one car at one point in time. You can have, somebody can have 5 bags, somebody can have 100 bags, but after that, what? There's only that much, the marginal utility keeps diminishing, right? Ultimately, you need that peace of mind, and that money can certainly not buy. If you ask me, sometimes it's the reverse. The more at your disposal, the more the pressure, the choices are that much more, all of that. So, when I go on my treks, actually, which I like to go at least twice a year. I'm very outdoor and I really love my treks. One of the reasons that I really like it is for the austerity of that life. It's a very simple living. You have one backpack. You have 4 pairs of clothes. You have the same meal you're eating morning, evening, afternoon. It is so simple and so austere, that life, that I really enjoy it. I honestly really enjoy that austerity and that simplicity.
Tell us about yourself. How are you and how do you deal with mental health?
So I am, what should I say? I'm a kind of person who thrives on challenge. I keep putting myself out of the comfort zone, maybe way too often and way more than what I should be. But that's the way I am. I thrive on challenge. I like the complexity. I like to do different things. I like a variety in my life. I think we all go through mental health concerns.
Have you ever struggled with it?
So I went through postpartum depression actually, pretty much all 3 times. But it was the worst after Ananya was born.
Okay.
I think it was worst also because I didn't know what I was dealing with.
After your baby is born, वो एक खालीपन सा एहसास होता है. I'm not sure what it is exactly like, but it would be great.
खालीपन also and एक low सी feeling रहती है. You know, you're just पूरे समय ऐसे you're just crying and समझ में नहीं आता है कि क्यों हो रहा है ऐसे, क्योंकि एक तरफ तो अभी आपका बच्चा जन्मा है, एक खुशी का मौका है, खुशी का माहौल है, सब लोग इतने खुश हैं, पर आपको बहुत लो लगता है, ऐसे लगता है कि बस बैठ के रो पूरे टाइम या अकेले रहो, किसी से मिलो नहीं, तो वो भी आपको लगता है कि ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है, क्योंकि मुझे तो खुश होना चाहिए बट मुझे एक्चुअली बहुत दुख हो रहा है. सो ये तो फिजियोलॉजिकल है. इट इज़ अ नोन फिनोमिना दैट योर हार्मोन्स ड्रॉप एंड यू गो थ्रू पोस्टपार्टम डिप्रेशन. मुझे लगा बस ऐसे ही हो रहा है. यू नो, आई यूज्ड टू क्राई ऑलमोस्ट एवरी इवनिंग. I just समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा था. It wasn't a known thing, right? And you can't be openly crying with people, or you can't even say you're not feeling well. ये क्या, people would not even understand. So on one side, you're obviously having to hide your feelings. You're having to pretend कि सब कुछ ठीक है, but actually you're not really feeling that well. Then after that, you know, when I started reading up, I realized that there is something called postpartum depression, and that just made me feel so much better in a sense that I'm not alone in what I'm feeling, and जो मुझे लग रहा है कुछ ऐसे ही नहीं है. You know, there is physiological reason for it. And that's why I believe that अगर अपने mental health के बारे में और awareness spread करें और लोगों को बताएं कि इसके लिए एक reason है. It's like diabetes. Diabetes में जैसे जब शुगर होता है तो इंसुलिन ड्रॉप हो जाता है या शुगर ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है, राइट? सो यू हैव टू कंट्रोल दैट. ऐसी थोड़ी ना हो जाती है डायबिटीज़. So mental health is also like that. There are changes, there are neurotransmitters increasing or decreasing, which is why then you have a mental health concern. तो अगर लोगों को वैसे समझाया जाए, it's just easier to deal with it.
The world is your oyster, really. आप कुछ भी कर सकती हैं, कुछ भी कर सकती थी, और आप शायद बहुत सारी चीजें कर भी रही हैं. But you focused on things like empower, you know, mental health, या फिर like what we're about to talk about, the week of 10 to 17 September, which is Suicide Prevention Week. क्यों आपने इसको चुना? That was the bent of mind that I was coming from. Because very often it is something personal that, you know, or something passion जिससे उत्पन्न होती हैं ये चीजें. तो ये आपने क्यों चुना?
So generally, my own experiences while I was bringing up my kids, for example, what I was seeing around me, you know, I was also running a school by then, 2 schools, so I could see what was happening in schools with the children, and जैसे माहौल हो रहा था, and it was very difficult. एक तो लोगों को इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं थी, so it was a big stigma. You couldn't talk about it, and also when you needed help, अगर साइकाइट्रिस्ट के पास जाना हो तो कहाँ जाओ यही नहीं मालूम था कि किसके पास जाओ, क्या है, क्या करना चाहिए. जैसे अगर आपको अगर फ्रैक्चर हो जाए तो you know you have to go to an orthopedic. But इस बीमारी में यही नहीं मालूम था कि जाएं किसके पास और कौन है जाने के लिए. So all these things led me to actually initiate and to launch Empower. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was just one of those things that I really wanted to do.
तो आपने इन 6 सालों में मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में क्या सीखा है?
What I'm learning is that it's a universal issue. It's there everywhere. Every audience, every group of people is dealing with it, but in dealing with it in different manners, and the needs are very different. So अगर हम लोग रूरल में काम करते हैं, रूरल महाराष्ट्र में काम करते हैं, वहाँ की नीड बहुत अलग है. You know, the reasons for mental health disturbances is very different. Same thing if you go to, say, schools. The concerns will remain the same. The same mental health concerns. It could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be exam stress, it could be relationship issues. But the way you're dealing with it, like in an urban society, urban section, is very different.
Will you give me an example? जैसे कि अगर आपने notice, मतलब
I remember initially when we started out, one of our corporates told us that we will do we'll take the workshop, but इसमें से आप mental health word निकाल दीजिए.
बताओ.
So it was such a stigma. We'll do it, but don't call it a mental health workshop. I said, no, we will have to call it a mental health workshop because we are working in that space, and our whole idea is to elevate the stigma.
Yeah.
If I hide it and give it to you, then I'm, you know, going against my own self. I can't be that. I can't be inauthentic to myself.
Red FM 93.5